episode number 64 with Steve and Mike. Welcome to the Heads Up Poker Podcast. This is Steve Barton.
This is Mike Sneideman.
How the hell are you, Mike?
Pretty good, Steve. How about you?
Good. Does do I sound any different?
Are you lonely, Steve?
Well, yes, but that's not what I was getting at.
Do you sound any different? I don't know. Are you having like Caitlyn Jenner style surgery here? Where your voice
Jesus, no. No, I was asking a less profound question, I guess.
Oh, okay.
I got a new microphone.
A new microphone?
I do, yes. It's actually this pretty cool one. It's up on a stand right now. It's got one of those like sound buffer things in front of it, and very cool, very cool. I got it at the liquidation store. I get all my stuff to sell on Amazon with, and I saw this, and I was like, I want that.
Now that I listen closely, I find myself annoyed 3% less by your voice, so it must be the microphone.
It's working then. It's working. That's good. Right on. Cool. So how was yours and Carlos's trip out to Vegas?
It was pretty good. I mean, I think I bricked tournaments 24 and 25 in a row. Or no, I fired 4 bullets at that damn thing.
Ooh.
So, yeah, but I had a big winning cash session where I won $4,000. So I got out of town up, whatever, $1,500. I guess that's the bottom line. If this is a job, at least for the moment. Making money rather than losing money.
Nice. And,
we had fun. Hanging out with Carlos is always good. I got excited for the summer, of course. I'll be disappointed if I can't get that straightened out where I have some money to go out there for a significant part of the summer.
How long do you want to go out for?
Well, I'd like to go out for pretty much the whole series. I was talking last night on Twitch, which you can get into. I'm now twitching, is I said I got my safety deposit box with $6,000 in it, and I don't plan on I'm only going to put money in there if I have poker profits. So if I have $6,000, that means I'm probably coming just for the first couple of weeks to play the Colossus and the Millionaire Maker.
Nice.
And then, but like I said, I'd like to be out there most of the time. Other than a week to travel with my son, that means I'd like to be out there for like 5 weeks.
Yeah.
And play a big schedule. But I'll have to see if I'll have to look for investors and start that whole process again.
Right on. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to go on my annual trip with my buddy Joe, and then after that, I've got the whole month of June off. So
nice.
Go on my trip, and then I'll be out there hopefully for a couple of weeks. My brother's going to be moving. He's buying a house, so I may be helping him during that time move. I think he's moving around that time, or maybe a little bit before. I'm not sure. So
I'll be willing to supervise the moving for a place to sleep.
Oh, that would be awesome. I think one of the things we could really use is while we're carrying a couch out, somebody directing and pointing where it should go,
Well, I don't lift things. I got a bad back here, Steve.
That's right. Yes.
Surgeries, but I'm good at pointing. Yeah.
Okay.
So the WSOP schedule actually just came out yesterday.
Oh, it did. I haven't seen it.
So you can take a look and try to come up with your schedule.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, it'll be a while, I'm sure, before the Venetian and Planet Hollywood and all that stuff come out. But So what would your plan be? Probably play. How much money would you think you'd spend over the course of 3 weeks there? What would be your budget for tournament buy-in? Say $10,000.
Well, I'm on the fence here. My goal for a while was to get backed and go out there and play maybe $10,000 worth of tournaments. Put up 10 or 20%. I'll put up 10 or 20% of myself, and then get back for the remainder of 80 or 90. And I was talking to Carlos about this when we went down to Oceanside, and he and I talked for a long time about it. And I don't know. He's kind of got me convinced that I might be better off just taking that $1,500 or $2,000 of mine and just putting it into like 10 of the daily deep stacks. There's no. As far as percentage-wise of what I could win, now there's no shot for a bracelet, but as far as percentage-wise of what my winnings would be and what I'd be able to keep, it would be about the same. And I wouldn't have to deal with the headache of getting a backer and going through that whole thing. He really kind of discouraged me from that, actually.
Right.
And I'm like, maybe he's got a point. Yeah, it didn't sound. It would be awesome if I got like what you did last year, where one person put up everything, and but he's like, you could get the one guy wants 5% of you, another guy wants 10, one guy wants 5. He's like, you have to put in these stipulations in there that the minimum that you can buy is 10% or something like that. He said, but you could have 10 different people buy that portion of you, and and then when you do cash something, you got to have 10 different payouts. And
yeah,
I don't know, man.
I would think, or
the lazy part of me is like, I played these deep stacks before. I know what my competition is, and I've gone deep in them. Maybe I should just do that again. They're a lot of fun, And I've played I played one bracelet event. It was after about 45 minutes, the novelty kind of wore off, and it was just another tournament, I don't know. I'm still on the fence. I don't know what I'm going to do.
Well, first of all, getting $10,000 isn't going to be easy.
True.
Like I said, I think I got pretty lucky last year, and I was coming off a pretty amazing year of online play, where I was like the second ranked player in the U.S. or whatever for a time there. You know what I mean? So
yeah, you were just writing.
You're just not going to have the results live, or unless someone listening to the show, but. You know what I mean? Like, Brian has to break open his piggy bank and get the pennies that are rolling around the ground to play a tournament. So I don't know how many people listening to this have money to put you in, but I like. I would think more than. Well, first of all, Steve, you have more than $1,500 if you wanted to.
True.
But we won't talk about how frugal and smart with money you are. I mean, if you had to take out $5,000 or $6,000, that has absolutely will have no negative impact on your overall life.
I could, but then I'd be coming back to I like keeping my account separate. So the Amazon and the eBay account that if you guys haven't heard, my wife and I haven't. I've pretty much taken it over now that she's become a flight attendant. But we got an Amazon and eBay business. That account is in one bank account. Another account is just for poker. Another account is just for the rental properties. Like everything's kind of its own entity. So yeah, you're right. I could. Kind of move some funds around and stuff and do that. But for me, I like keeping the poker bankroll as this own little nest egg that like I said, I don't like, unless it's a live tournament or like during the WSOP, I'll risk 20 or 30% of my bankroll on those one string of tournaments. But other than that, when I play online, it's just never more than 1% of my roll.
That's the other thing, of course, too. You could you could concentrate on the online grind the first week there and try to satellite into some tournaments.
Oh, I didn't think of that.
I think they do that. The only thing I would change there maybe for the Daily D, but there probably will be a lot of like the Venetian and the Planet Hollywood and a few other places will probably have two-day tournaments with like $300 buy-ins.
Those would be perfect.
So you can play a couple of those that are just a little more expensive than the deep stacks. But they run a little deeper and a little more play, and they're more like real poker tournaments.
Yeah, 40-minute levels or hour levels or whatever, yeah. I did play some of those last year. That was fun.
But, yeah, Carlos's point, too, though, is like, I said, if I actually played 1K and went deep and was only getting 10% of myself, I'd be fucking pissed off. I'd be like, what's the point of this?
Yeah. He mentioned that, too. He's like, if you go and you're looking at 150 grand, you're only going to get 10% of that. If
you don't have the money, you don't have the money. I mean, last year I only had 30% of myself, the Millionaire Maker.
Yeah.
So I cashed for $29,000, only like 10
or something.
Yeah, even less of that was mine. So if you got to do it, but like I told myself, if I can't have at least 50% of myself, then I shouldn't even be in the tournament. Is the way I kind of look at it. But
yeah.
Something to think about. It's fun to make the schedule. Like I said, the 3 tournaments I don't want to miss are the Colossus, the Monster Stack, and the Millionaire Maker. I guess I don't want to miss the main event either. I think that's the big news. I didn't look at myself. I heard someone saying online, 50,000 chips is the new starting stack for that tournament.
Really? They must have taken out a level or something. Like, how could they do that?
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, that's possible. But basically, with those 2-hour levels after the first day, I mean, if you just if you could just walk into the next day with probably 100 big blinds with just folding every hand.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know what percentage of people normally make day one, but I'm assuming that will be higher now. So, I mean, normally make day two, but so that makes it even juicier if you for those who think they have a skill advantage.
Yeah, that's cool.
So, anyways, I started twitching.
Yes, I was just going to say that. Great minds think alike. You're on to twitching. I got to see your first broadcast.
Yeah, normally when I say I'm going to do something, you have to add like 6 months' time. It's like, man, I really could use some clean underwear. And then like 7 months later, I go out and finally get some. So I've been talking about twitching for a while, and finally, that was the big thing I accomplished in Vegas was, well, that Carlos accomplished. He helped me, and we set up the Twitch channel, which I'm having. Carlos has to help me again because it looked pretty shabby last night. I couldn't get the picture on and couldn't get the chat centered and blah blah blah. But at least I was twitching.
Yeah.
But I love it.
You look like you're having fun, and you're really good at explaining your thoughts as you're going through the hand. When you're on there, you're like, I'm going to bluff in this spot because, there's one Broadway card with two lower ones. It's very unlikely that he has that. It's even a tough call here with pocket nines. I mean, just the way you explain things, it's good, So if you guys want some free lessons, we'll put a link in the show notes to Mike's Twitch channel. And if you're not familiar with Twitch, basically what it is it's his own private TV show. So you can log online and watch him play poker live. And entertaining. It was cool. It was cool.
Yeah, twitch.tv/Rampage Poker. Well, that's good to hear. I don't, I know I got to be talking, so I'm talking about the hands. The idea that I'm doing it lucidly and hopefully in an educational manner is good news, if that's the case.
Yeah.
But of course, and I set up a Twitch schedule. Again, I'm following the Carlos blueprint here, where he said you got to just have a time where people know they can check in with you. They're not just hoping you're there.
Oh, good. Okay.
So
what is it?
Every Sunday, Monday, Tuesday night at 6:30 p.m. Pacific Coast time. And like I said, when I grind, I have to make money. So since my grinds will start at, 4 p.m., I think it'll be perfect that by 6:30 p.m., if I start with 6 or 8 tables, I'll probably have 2 or 3 left.
Okay.
So I can twitch and chat, but still concentrate on the tables. So that's why I chose that time. I think it's good. And hopefully every Sunday especially, I'll be late in a tournament, with some meaningful money. I actually was last night. I was at the final table of the 30K, which had 7,500 up top.
Nice.
And I went out ninth, the short stack. And but it's fun. I had a buddy there. My buddy in the Cook Islands was on. And like I said, I think the chat will be fun and we'll talk about stuff. And all I know is I'm excited about it. So I'm going to do it. Even if a month from now, there's only a dozen people watching me, I think I'll still be doing it, is my sense, because it's really reinvigorated and I think I might play better too. When you're talking aloud, you have to justify your actions.
You do.
You know what I mean? So it sounds stupid to say, well, I'm just going to hope he has pocket sixes here. Just come up with the one hand you beat.
Yeah.
Because that's not really proper thinking. So, last night was my first winning session in a while. I think I played 6 tournaments and cashed in 4 of them.
Oh, nice. I love nights like that.
So, I probably made $500, nothing major, but...
just min cashes and stuff, but still, that's cool. Yeah, you're right about it does make you play better. I used to post videos on Card Runners. This was probably 8 years ago, and I noticed I did play better. When you know that people are going to be watching this and you have to articulate what your thoughts are as you're going through the hand, it really causes you to stop and go okay, wait, am I checked up here? Or is this am I onto something? Or, it really makes you stop and analyze what you're actually about to do, instead of just impulsively.
I think I did pass up on a couple spots I normally would have taken. So I don't know if that was just because I didn't want to be with 2 tables left in a tournament, 4-bet bluffing king 6 or something. But Nitty is pretty. I mean, I thought I played pretty well. And like I said, I went deep and in a few tournaments. And then unfortunately I didn't get it would have been really great to actually get the $7,500 from the 30K. There was even overlay in that one. So.
Ooh.
But, a good night.
Thanks.
I'm motivated with Twitch, and I'm motivated Well, my motivation for the web series fell off the side of the earth when I found out I was being basically robbed each day by a 300-pound Samoan who could barely walk.
Would get a bloody nose every time he started up in a pub.
The last podcast a little bit, but yeah, I just, again, I'm not good with money. I mean, it was fun, so it's hard to justify the money I spent on that. And for those who are curious, like I said, there will be no episode 3, but I did start the little Rampage diaries at my new YouTube channel, Rampage Poker, and or you can catch it following me and Steve on Twitter. I'm going to put a bunch more out this week. We're basically little snippets of what me and you and Carlos.
Oh, good. I've been wondering when those are going to come out.
I'm going to start doing some more of those this week. Yeah. So it hasn't. So, and I'm taking that energy into another project here. Is the RampagePoker.com should be up online tomorrow.
It's coming out this. I didn't want to jinx it. I didn't want to bring it up unless you did, because that's like right on. So it's coming out.
So again, why am I spending money on something I will not get money back? Like I said, this is just this is a gift I'm giving myself to have hopefully a cool looking website. And
there's going to be the little Friends of Rampage
yes,
section.
There's going to be the FOR drop down. Friends of Rampage, which Steve is, let's be honest, Steve, this is the greatest accomplishment of your life, isn't it?
It pretty much is, yes. I've always wanted to get on this list, and now I'm finally there.
I know you came in 113th in the California Wrestling Championship back in 97.
112.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So anyways, this website is going to be fun. It's got me inspired too. Yesterday I wrote a bunch of blog entries.
Nice.
So when it starts, there's already going to be some content there. There'll be videos, of course, to the Rampage diaries, that sort of thing.
It's good. Can't wait to see it.
And I'm trying to think. And Steve, I think I'm going to have to put a coaching link up there. I'm going to have to follow your lead here. I got to start. That's the only way I'll be able to squeeze a few bucks out of the.
I tell you, you know what? If nothing else, it makes you a much better player.
Right.
Because it forces you, like, a student will be like, well, why? You just do, okay? Because I said so. You have to come up with these reasons. And like, okay, why am I telling him to 3-bet 3x out of position? Like, why would I say that? It just it forces you to really like dig deep and come up with these tangible reasons, because people don't want to do something unless they have a valid reason to do it.
Well, you gotta roll up the sleeve. And Sassonato was talking about coaching. When someone asks a question, it says something is true. He's like, prove it to me.
Yeah.
So for a student, you got to be prepared for that. When I say this reship is profitable, I have to know how to use an equity calculator properly. You know what I mean? Like, there's certain things, just from playing so many hands, I know that certain plays are profitable. You can put no in parentheses. I mean, if I ran the numbers, I'm pretty sure 9 out of 10 times I'm going to be right.
Well, you can have, I use Slice during a session. I'll pull up Slice and throw in ranges real quick and show them that. But, I mean, just accept that there's going to be some people that are better at that stuff than you and I are. Like, if they want a guy to really break down that stuff, they need to hire Doug. Is really what it comes down to. Is they need to go with Doug. If they want to, more of a field player, then they probably want to hire you. Does that make sense? Like, each guy kind of has their own strength and their own...
It's a mathematical game. No one's going to say, I'm looking for a field player. You got to explain mathematically. And then, you can explain while you're feeling why this person's at the top of the range now or at the bottom of their range and why it's a good spot via game flow, that kind of stuff.
Well, maybe I guess what I mean is you have a lot to offer as a coach. And just because you may not be able to throw all these ranges into Flopzilla or something, the student's still going to learn a lot.
Well, learning ranges is the key thing to the game. So you got to basically, I'm ready to take it seriously. No, but you have to explain the shove charts and why this is profitable and this isn't. Like last night was a good example. My bust out hand in one of them was shoving with 13 big blinds, king 9 from the cutoff, or was it the hijack? I can't remember. And I said, this is probably the worst hand you shove in this spot. And I shoved and busted. Somebody had queens. And then I pulled up the chart. And actually, king 10 off was supposed to be a shove, but king 9 off was supposed to be a fold. So, I kind of knew my ranges pretty well. I'm like, well, this was probably a shove, but it's probably the very worst hand in the shoving, chart.
Well, you're pretty damn close. I mean,
yeah. So like
about that,
my range is I'm always going to be pretty. Yeah, I'm never going to be far off in these spots for sure.
Yeah.
But anyways, so how much do you charge for a coaching session, Steve?
I do $10 for the first hour, just so they feel like they get to try me out without too much commitment. And then after that, I do $50 an hour.
So I guess I'm going to be charging $49.99 an hour.
You should, yeah.
I got. The price war has begun.
Yes, it is. First hour for $9.99. Each additional $49.99. Yeah, and then they can transfer it over player-to-player transfer on ACR or PayPal or whatever you want.
Huh, okay, player-to-player stuff too.
Yeah,
like I say, you probably, because I'm going to be hyper-verbal, you can just watch Twitch. And I don't want to discourage anyone from joining Tournament Poker Edge, but I wonder if just watching Twitch, you learn as much. I think you need the Tournament Poker Edge and the actual coaching where they actually stop and start pulling up slice and whatever. But you could learn a lot just by watching solid players Twitch. That would be a pretty good routine to becoming a winning player without even personal coaching or training videos or books or anything else.
I think number one to get better is to hire a coach. Number two is probably to join a training site, and if you want to go the free route and get not pay anything, then twitching is your number one choice by far. Watching a pro play, going through every hand, listening to his analysis, I think that's the best. Yeah,
that sounds pretty fun. Anyways, even though I'm losing money at poker and just been dumping money in life and all sorts of problems, I'm happy just because I'm twitching and 6 people are paying attention to me while I play poker. I got a lot of love as a child, Steve. All I need is somebody who's paying. I need attention. If someone.
Well, you got a little attention here. We got an email for you.
Okay.
Yes, this is from. I almost said Josh, but it's JSH0822. I'll call you Jay. Hi guys, great show. Mike, I think you suffer from the same kind of tilt I do, which is what I believe they call vendetta tilt. You always say if a person 3-bets you twice, you're going to 4-bet them. I think this can lead to disaster. I know you won't take this seriously. Yeah, that's probably right. You might be better off talking to a door or a chair or a 2x4 right now, Jay, but we'll go on. I know you won't take this seriously, but I think if you want to play cash, you can learn from your mistakes at the micro stakes. The app Leakbuster for Hold'em Manager 2 can help your game tons. And if your fundamentals are lacking, it will tell you what and how to improve. Just an idea. I'm a cash player myself, although I'm sure back in the day we played some tourney hands together on Carbon. It honestly sounds like your cash games, you try to make too much happen. Obviously, you're just pointing out interesting hands, which they are, but you may be taking it too far. There can be collusion in live games too. Tangent, online games are tougher, but you can learn for a fraction of the price. Yes, I realize taking micro stakes may be tough for you to play because pennies mean nothing to you. It sounds like you're playing games constantly underrolled, a great way to go busto. You hate on yourself way too much. You're 45 and I would have guessed you're in your mid-30s. I may look older than you, and I'm a lot younger. Lastly, the swings of poker suck so badly, but we all have been there. It is the most mentally challenging aspect of the game, in my opinion. Hell, you play tournaments, which are obviously going to have tenfold the variance of cash games. Even when you're winning, you kind of feel entitled to it, but when you go on a big downswing, it just feels awful and quickly takes all of your confidence in the game anyway. Anyways, good luck at the tables and keep up the good work with the show. Jay.
I'm trying to find something to disagree with in those suggestions, but it all sounds pretty right on.
That's what I was thinking when I first met.
The thing is, Steve, I think you saw my bust out here talking about vendetta tilt. I said those exact same words. If this guy 3-bets me again, I'm shoving on him.
Mm-hmm.
And this was about as stupid as it gets. When I busted out of the Bovada Major on Sunday. Just, I mean, this would be the perfect example. It's like 145 people got paid, like 800 people started or whatever. And I actually had an average stack. So, it's totally stupid. I opened the button, would say 25, 30 bigs. And the chip leader would 3-bet me the previous time, stone bubble, with a bunch of people with like 3-4 big blinds. And I've got over 20 bigs. This guy 3-bet me from the small blind. And I waited to use my clock up and then shoved king 9 and ran into tens and bubbled the tournament.
Yeah.
So I guess that was vendetta. Although, I think the guy could, whatever.
Did you have him covered or did he have you covered?
Oh, no,
I guess he had you covered if
he had me covered. This was for my tournament. I did not.
Yeah, I'm not in love with that. Maybe if like you had 25 bigs and he had 24, you know? Where it's his tournament, then I guess I don't mind that. But I don't know, since he's got covered.
Well, if that was the case, then he wouldn't be 3-betting as often. Here he could be 3-betting anything.
That's true.
So, but it's just you just have to, I got to go on I was mentioning that last night. I was talking about the bust out hand there, and I'm like, I have to start respecting the min cash. And I think there was a spot where I folded like ace jack off with 13 bigs under the big blind, which might be a fold which is at the bottom of the shoving chart, I think.
Wait, in the big blind? I don't get it.
I'm sorry, under the gun.
Oh, okay. 13
it's at
bigs?
the bottom.
No, I fold that.
It's probably a shove with an M of 5. I'd have to look, but it'd be the very bottom of the range. So anyways, I had a couple minish times last night where I made some folds where I'm like, well, listen, we're 2 away from the money. I got to fold here.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start respecting the min cash and hopefully not have to avoid having a redeposit on Bovada and America's Card Room, which I did last night.
Well, I put some more money on Bovada.
Sorry?
I put some more money on Bovada. I started playing on there again. One of my students, Todd, he plays on there, and I thought, I haven't played on Bovada in a long time. I'm like, let's do this. So I fired up Tournament Indicator, and it's a lot of fun. The competition's a lot less fierce on Bovada than it is on ACR,
sure.
But it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. The breaks are getting me, but you know what I do is every couple of hours I just take a 5-minute break as long as I'm not on a final table or something, but I'd rather miss a few hands and be somewhat clear of mind for the next couple hours than have to just grind through for 10 hours straight.
And quickly for Jay, cash. The funny thing is, whenever I have a couple of good sessions, cash. I think I just went up to LAPC and played a couple events, and we can talk about some hands from that.
Oh yeah.
But I had 2 winning cash sessions where pretty much I just said I'm not giving anything away, and I folded and won like a couple of big hands. Those LA cash games are just fucking great though, man. There's the one table I was like the only white American there. There was a guy from Egypt, a guy from Syria, someone from Spain, someone from Brazil, 3 Asian guys. I mean, it was just not that, but people just throwing money around where it's obvious the optimal strategy. Here it's uncomplicated. You just wait to get paid. And if you got to fold for 2 hours and then lose $40, then it's no big deal.
Yeah.
So I had a couple winning. One I won like 900, one I won like 500. And there's just almost no point in ever bluffing here.
Yeah.
The one Syrian guy last night was driving me nuts because I never won big hand off him. But whatever, it's just you're waiting to. He bought in for like 200 and had it up to 1,400 and down to 300 and he's just playing 80 to 90% of hands.
But anyways, what was the limit? 2-5.
This was a 5-5 game, $500.
Okay.
First of all,
for 200 there?
I thought you'd be proud of me for that I didn't buy into the 5-10 game. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I am actually.
What was your previous question? I'm sorry.
Oh, you can buy it for 200 at a 5-5?
I think maybe it's 300, 500, but he was knocked out. They allowed a short buy. I remember his buddy came in and gave him some money.
Okay, that's always nice.
But anyways, So, just from what Jay's saying, I don't think I could ever be winning online. You have to know, even at 1-2 online, you have to know perfect game theory optimal strategy, and you have to work very hard on your specific ranges and all that.
What he's saying play like 10 cent, 25 cent.
Right. You lose money and you get better, but just playing lots and lots of that is not going to basically, I want to keep getting better at MTTs. And to beat 1-2, I mean, we talked about how Dusty Schmidt is on 1-2 online.
Yeah.
If you want to beat 1-2 online, that is a massive investment of time and study.
Yeah.
So it's not like, okay, play low limit cash, get better, then move up. But actually, this was a conversation I had with Carlos. I was trying to ask what is the best resource for becoming. I said, well, I'm a tournament player at least for the next 6 months. I want to go to Vegas. I want to have fun this summer. I said, then if I return, I want to get down to beating the local cash game. What's the best? And he thought the live at the bike actually membership is better than any training site. because the commentary is so good. Or I'm sorry, what's the Bart Hansen training site? Anyway,
Crush Live Poker.
Yeah. Which is used in the Live at the Bike stuff. So he that's what his suggestion, even more than Red Chip Poker or some of the other sites. So that might be my following Jay's advice too. Probably start playing lower limits and study. And I mean, if you have this, the tilt is less of a factor. If you're sometimes you're tilting at your own ignorance. You're upset with yourself more often than not. Is when I'm tilting at, not that the other play. So if I have if I know what I'm doing with every play, there's less to tilt about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If I'm a more competent player.
Yeah.
But all sound advice from Jay there. I appreciate his insight. He's echoing the things Steve says, but everything that comes out of your mouth, Steve, just sounds silly. So yeah. If someone
I'm like the dad that the kid just never listens to, and then finally when he turns 30, he realizes his father knew what he was talking about.
It is. I always love all these little psychological, sociological studies, and this one feminist person was talking of this feminist teacher coming up with this study, which is part of the interesting psychology class, where he had everyone in this class read a paper by an academic, and for half the people, they put a picture of who supposedly wrote it, and in half the picture they did a picture of a woman, and half the picture they did of a man. And the people who wrote their responses were much more critical of the paper when they thought it was written by a woman. Just like, she hasn't done her homework. She's hysterical. I don't know if you know what I mean, but it's there's less thought involved. It's more like thinking or feeling. So not because you have a feminine quality, Steve, but for whatever reason, some people just it's just kind of funny how you can hear the same information from different people and process it differently.
True.
When my mother says, "Do as I tell her, I'm going to spank you," it doesn't do anything for me. But like when the stripper says it, it's arousing.
Yeah, it is.
Why is that, Steve? No,
I don't know.
But by the way, we're talking about this last night on my Twitch. I've never seen this before, and this might be my new favorite tournament here. They had one I never heard, but maybe it's not totally unique. But at the LAPC, they had the Ironman tournament, which is you start it and it just doesn't end. There's nobody bags until you finish, and there's no breaks.
Whoa.
So, Steve, but I mean, the bathroom's nearby. I mean, I have to go to the bathroom. For you, this might be even more of a problem.
What's the buy-in?
The buy-in for this was $1,100.
Man, that sounds like fun though.
I would love, and you think because I'm older and a bad back, but I think this would be right up my alley, just for my music, like these long. And it's kind of frustrating. Anyways, I played this the other night, and I made it about 11 hours in, I think. And we were still, and it was deep. That was the other thing, hour level. So it's deeper. It moves slower than your average 1K, which is usually 40-minute levels.
Yeah.
There's only 61 people in the tournament, and people said it would probably end at 6 or 7 in the morning. So you'd only have to play for about 19 hours straight in this probably. But still quite a while. Imagine if you had a couple hundred people and you had play 30 hours or something. That would be much more fascinating. But
that would be. I bet I would have a big edge in that. I would take all my food in a backpack. I could. That would be fun.
Well, this was a tough field. I gotta say, you're not going to get your average schmo to come in for this. So that's the other issue, I should say.
Okay, yeah, that's probably true. It's just like professional grinders that are ready to, let's do this.
I was doing the math yesterday. It's kind of funny how in this tournament, just trying to figure out, basically, let's just say there's 50 players who are probably close to the same. We're all pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say that I'm a little bit at the top. I'm probably closer to the top of that 50, and other people are going to say the same thing. And maybe there's 5 people who have an edge of me, but But there's 61 people, and let's just say there's 11 people for the sake of argument. I'm trying to work on my math here, Steve. Okay. 11 people for the sake of argument who have no chance of winning this tournament.
Mm-hmm.
So that's only $11,000 in dead money. There's $11,000 in dead money in this pool.
Okay.
And the rake that the 50 play is $100 each.
So the actual prize pool is only $1,000 from each person.
So yes. So the rake, from the 50 players who are playing this, who put the money in, there's there's 50. They paid 50,000 for 50,000 in prize money. So you take 5,000 out, but you add 11,000 from these players who are not good enough to cash. So you're plus 6,000.
Okay.
So basically, you're plus 6,000. So the 50 players who are good enough to make it just by plus EV edge would each make $120 in this tournament. I just thought this was an interesting way. The field is small enough you could almost quantify.
Yeah. I'm remembering back to our Jonathan Little interview. This is pretty much exactly what he was talking about.
And then you factor in like the hourly. Let's say the average time you play in this tournament is about 6 hours, $20 an hour, minus gas and everything. It's a minimum wage.
It probably is
on a strong field. That was the other thing about the iron. I don't know. This was interesting where first place was guaranteed half of the prize pool.
First place was guaranteed half of the prize. Wow.
So that's really unique. So there was only so there was $61,000 in the pool and $30,500 for the winner.
Wow. So
it should make it go faster at the end because there's not really the ICM jumps. Yeah. You got 7-handed and nobody can pass up on an edge.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So anyways, I just never played a tournament like this and I was kind of fascinated by it. But
yeah, that's cool. Have you played one of these yet? Like an antes tournament where the antes are 10 times the big blind?
No, that's interesting.
Was it 5 times the big? I can't remember. It was really cool. So let's say the blinds are 50, 100. Then everyone has to ante like 200 or 300. So the whole pot is like over 3K. But for people that are unfamiliar with this, you can, if the blinds are 1 to 200, you can raise to like 250 or 300 and take down the whole 3,000 pot.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah,
I played that and I just one-tabled it until I got the gist of the tournament. But there's a huge edge for any pro that can step in and figure that out within a couple of minutes.
I would do that. I would do $100 tournament just for yucks, but $500 or more, I'd have to stop and spend a couple hours thinking exactly what adjustments you should make in your game.
It basically is just that you look at M instead of how many big blinds you have. What is your M? Because the whole pot is going to be out there. The pot is 3,000 and you have 24,000 in your stack. Then your M is 8. But you really have like 200 big blinds because the blinds are only 50, 100.
Right.
So that's the adjustment right there. Is you look at M, you don't look at big blinds, and if you just focus on M, then you just play a regular tournament. Is the way I was playing it. And it seemed to work quite well. But I didn't cash in that one. Got unlucky, but it was still fun.
And the previous day or 2 days earlier, I finally broke my streak of fucking not cashing since last year's World Series. It's ridiculous, but
really, that was the last time you cashed in a live tournament?
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, I haven't played a huge volume in the last 8 or 9 months, but it's been like 20. I want to say 20. I want to say 27 tournaments without cashing, which is just ridiculous. But so I bought into the Playboy, 1650, 500,000 guaranteed. Ends up having over $1 million in the prize pool.
Nice. Oh, is that picture you tweeted with the 2 girls?
Yes.
Yeah. They were definitely in your personal bubble. They need to back off.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So quickly, my first bullet, I go out quickly when I get it all in jacks against 10s. Of course, there's a 10 on the flop.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm ready. I fired bullet number 2. Do you want to pause and soak in the bad beat story, Steve? I haven't told one of those in years. So.
Oh yeah, it's been at least 4 or 5.
But anyways, bullet number 2 went better. Got into the money, and there was 3 different sessions. And from each session, you would pay 10%, but 8% would go on to day 2. So this day there was about 440 people in, and 45 were getting paid, but only 36 were bagging.
Okay.
So when we made it to the money, I made it to the money, and I had, I think, probably one of the bigger stacks in the room, or well above average. I want to say the chip stack was, average chip stack was probably 175, 180K, probably 180K, and I had a little over 300K.
Okay.
And then I was out 6 hands later.
Ooh.
So I know we got some other hands to discuss. I don't know if you want me to. discuss these hands. They're all kind of instructive on how not to play poker.
Okay, yeah, let's do it.
Well, I don't know if they're, it just, we're talking about like, coaching versus, going by feel, where it should be just, okay, I've got 56 big blinds. This is what my opening range is against, this kind of thing. So I think a couple times I just entered pots with, they always say any pre-flop errors you make just become worse as with every street. And maybe these are examples of those. I don't know.
Let's do it. What you got?
Okay, so again, I'm not going to have the specific. Well, I'm going to be pretty close to the math of how many chips there were. So I have 300K. We're at 2,500, 5,000. So 60 bigs. So that's a nice stack.
2,500, 5,000. Okay, all right.
And it's probably going to take about, and the interesting thing is a previous tournament had moved quicker to get down. So the other tournament had stopped at 2,000, 4,000 antes. So even though we were going to play 2,500, 5,000, the next day when we returned, it was going to be 2,000, 4,000. So if I somehow just steal a couple pots over the next hour and maintain my stack and get, I could be returning with, if I return the next day with the same stack, I'd have 75 big blinds.
Yeah.
Which is a huge stack for a day two of a tournament.
Oh, yeah.
So, I think it's 8-handed. I think, although we just gone down to 5 tables, a couple short stacks maybe busted, and I am under the gun with pocket sixes. But there are 3 or 4 stacks on the table that are 15 big blinds or under. You got some shove stacks. So what do you do with pocket sixes?
How many shove stacks you say?
3 or 4.
3 or 4? Or like 10 bigs or 12?
I think there's 2 that are actually under 10, 8 or 9 bigs. And then there's one that I remember looking at the 4 short stacks. I was paying attention to the chip, and then I was like, well, I have to call 3 of them. One of them, I can get away from this. He probably got like 15 bigs.
Okay.
If he shoves.
UTG, man, I wouldn't even hate a fold here. At min raise, call the short stacks or open full. 8-handed?
Right.
8. Boy, 9. I would kind of be leaning a little bit more toward 8. Yeah, that would probably be my default. Is the
only certainly people are going to put me on a strong range. The last 2 hands that I showed, I knocked someone out with aces, and I had squeezed an opener and a flatter with ace king, and one guy took a long time to fold, and I kind of wanted to I don't show too often, but I showed the ace king.
Yeah.
So that would be, I think. Opening here on a certain level, if you think there's a chance you're going to get shoved on, you're probably ahead of their shoving ranges. Yeah. If they're shoving any pair, an ace jack suited plus or barely ahead, but on a certain level, it's just gambling.
Mm-hmm.
You're gambling with chips here because, I'm being results oriented here. The guy directly to my left, and this is a question whether I'd raise to 12,500.
Okay, 2.5.
And the guy directly to my left shoved like 56K and just over 11 bigs. Mm-hmm. And I did the math. It's a call.
Okay.
Even if you put him on a tight range, you take 5s out of his range, you take ace jack suited out of his range, it's still a call.
Okay.
But he had aces. Okay. And held. So I think pocket sixes might even be a fold there. You're either going to steal. You're either going to steal the blinds, or maybe end up in a flip with just. It's the big stacks were in the button and the big blind, the 2 people most likely to call. So obviously, I can win a big pot if somebody decides to flat a wide range, and I can hit a set. It's hard to get to. Pocket six is a good hand, but normally in any sort of opening, obviously early stages or mid stages of the tournament, you don't even think twice about that.
Yeah.
It's you open that hand.
Yeah.
Or if it's 14 bigs, you shove that hand and you don't think twice about it. But with all short stacks, in fact, even before the guy shoved, it's just, again, I act too quickly. is just like, okay, I got a pair. And I think it's one of those things, if I took a little more time, that might even be a fold.
Yeah, I was thinking, I was probably 60% fold, 40%, raise it like you did. And then you got to call the short stacks like you did.
And
sevens, I feel like sevens is a raise, like hands down. No debate, just raise with sevens. I feel like fives are just fold it, don't even think about it. Sixes are like, and then you're eight-handed. We're splitting hairs here. It's right there.
And even, and I said, well, it's a must call against this guy. But even, you can even justify folding to this guy, even if it's slightly plus EV call, because like I said, you're just gambling. You're hoping he's got ace king or ace queen. Otherwise you're dominated, or maybe pocket fives, but otherwise you're dominated. And anyways, so I lost about 60K there.
Mm-hmm.
And the very next hand,
okay.
I'm sorry, now that I think about it, this hand was UTG +1, and the next hand was UTG. I don't know if I said.
Well, then sixes might be, that's a lot closer than...
right.
Yeah, if it's UTG +1, I feel like we're right there then. Maybe 50%... Right. No, folding feels too tight now. 8-handed UTG +1. No, I like it, Mike. I like it.
And it's 8-handed, so...
yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
I like that. Since it's UTG +1, 8-handed... No, I like the way you played it. You got to call that guy anyways. I don't think you can fold there.
Well,
I
don't know if I got to call the guy either. The three big stacks at the table that were sort of, one of them I think was equal to me, two of them were short under. One of them is a definite pro. The guy's on my right. He's really good. I played with him before. But he is on my right, and I've stolen a few chips from him because he opens kind of too wide. And the other two I think are clearly a little imbalanced. One of them is just too loose. He's just playing too many pots. So my chips are valuable, just to be able to float on him and call a little wider from the button sort of thing. But anyways, the next hand... this might be revenge tilt or whatever. No, I mean, it's a playable hand, but it should have been a fold, especially coming off this previous hand. I get Queen 10 of spades under the gun.
Okay. How many handed? 8? I guess it's the very next hand.
Very next hand. Still 8-handed.
Your UTG. Yeah, I'd probably be folding that.
On the other hand, it's an easier to play in the shove fold thing because I'll be folding to anyone's raise pretty easily here. Other than the 8 big blind stack, I think I'd be committed to, or 7. There's a 7 big blind stack. I can't remember what.
I mean, especially right after the 6-6.
Well, it looks even. Most people, it looks. I think it even looks stronger that I'm opening here. But I mean, it's not when I wasn't tilted. I wasn't like, but I was frustrated. But it's a fold. There's no. I'm just taking from everyone else at the table. I don't think they're going to immediately jump on he's got a light open here. Let's 3-bet him. So anyways, it the small blind and the big blind both complete. And these are the two biggest stacks.
And would you make it 12.5 or?
Yeah, same.
Okay, 12.5 UTG, and then the small blind and big blind call.
Yes.
Okay, 12.5 and 12.5. Okay. Well, at least you have position.
Yep.
Okay. That's about the best thing I think that could have happened for this hand, other than everyone folding.
Flop is 9 high rainbow flop.
Okay, so 9XX rainbow.
I want to say like 9-5 deuce.
Okay, work 9-5 deuce rainbow. Okay, small blind and big blind.
They both check.
Getting our C bet on.
Yeah, I decide to bet.
Do you remember if there was a spade? So we got Queen 10 of spades. There was no spade. Okay, so we have no backdoor push. Okay.
And now I decide I bet about a 35% pot. I bet about 17,500. I think C bet is. This looks like a good board for my hand.
Well, I think it hits their range more than it hits yours.
Well, then the big blind the small blind shouldn't have a lot of 9X kind of hands. It's got aces and broadways.
True, but the big blind.
Well, I'm opening under the gun. I'm the only one who can have a big pair in their hand, probably.
Okay.
I think it's a decent board to c-bet.
I would be c-betting. I'm just saying that I think it's going to hit them more often than it's going to hit you.
Well, I don't know. If it was a Queen King X, but I don't think they're going to. I don't think they're going to float here that often.
Okay. What was it in the pot? Like 38,
about
39?
40K.
40K. Okay.
37.5 plus a 500 ante. 41,500 was in the pot before.
Okay. As planned. Yeah, I like the sizing. Okay.
And the small blind calls pretty quickly, and the big blind folds.
Okay, now we're heads up.
So there's now 35 and 41.5, 77,000 if I'm 76,500 or so in the pot.
Yeah.
The turn is a king of diamonds. There's now 2 diamonds on board. And the board is now king 9, I think 5 deuce, 2 diamonds, like I said.
Okay.
And we just wanted to go back to, what do you think the villain's calling range on the flop is? What kind of hands does he have?
Let's see. In the small blind, suited aces, Broadway cards, small pairs.
Well, but calling my c-bet.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. I was pre-flop. Okay, so calling your c-bet. So he check calls on the flop. What's he got? I would say he's got some. I mean, are you calling in the small blind with like 9-10 suited stuff like that?
Yeah, probably.
I mean, I could see myself doing it. Not very often, but I think at times I do.
This guy, by the way, I could had gotten moved to the table. We were down to 5 tables when the table broke. So he had of the 3 big stacks, he's the one I knew the least about.
Okay.
Although I had squeezed him out and showed him the ace king before, so he. But my guess is like the one guy would be defending his small blind with a lot of crap,
Yeah.
and the good part on my right would be playing it optimally. This guy, I was thinking, was probably going to be over to the tight side, so he might even have 10s or jacks there.
Okay.
Just playing cautiously.
Okay.
Maybe a big pair too. I think aces or kings he raises. He's going to be. But anyways, when he calls on the flop, my first thought is he's got 6s or 7s or something.
Okay. Yeah, I was thinking sets could be in his range, but 6, 7s, and 8s would make sense.
Could have a set. There'd be no sense for him to raise a set here.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Yeah, and he definitely doesn't have 9-5, doesn't have 9-2, doesn't have 5-2. I can't imagine somebody calling there with 3-4 for an open-ended straight draw.
No.
But things like like ace 4 of diamonds or ace 3 of diamonds would now make sense. He's got the gutter ball to the straight, and then he picks up the diamond draw. That would make sense.
Does he? Is he calling? If he calls from the small blind with ace jack, ace queen, ace king, is he going to call that c-bet?
If he calls with ace jack, ace king, ace queen,
pre-flop,
yeah, is he going to check call on that flop? Yeah, I don't see why not. Especially because if your previous hand was 6s, you're now pretty wide. I
don't consider 6s pretty wide. It's not like I showed up with jack king off or something. There, 6s is a good hand, but
true.
I don't think this guy. I think this guy's got a good equity hand. He's not floating just to steal it later.
Okay.
So basically, we should ask this question before the turn came out. So what does the king of diamonds do to his range? I would think that'd be a good card for me if he's got a pair.
Yeah.
I mean, we know it's not a good hand for me because I have queen 10.
Yeah, but for the range that he should be putting you on. I think it kind of hits both your ranges.
How does that hit his range? What does he have? King 9?
King queen, king ace king, king jack suited.
King queen is calling a c-bet?
I would think so.
This whole idea of backdoor outs, backdoor flush, backdoor straight, I don't think your average person in MTT really thinks along that way, especially late in day one. I mean, I know this is like a great focus of Mark's coaching and stuff, and you can really, take an extra card. It's worth it for the backdoors. I mean, you might very well be right. I'm just saying I'm not sure when you say that hits his range, how many kings he has he's playing there, and how he's thinking about backdoors with king, queen, or ace, king.
Okay.
I'm thinking it's a great card for me.
Okay. Maybe you're right. Maybe, well, I guess what kings does he have in his range? He's got ace, king. I'm thinking he would have king, queen with a backdoor, king, queen suited. King, jack might be a stretch. You might be right. Maybe you're right. Maybe this is really a lot better for your range.
If it's only ace, king off, or ace, king, and king, queen suited,
then there's not many at all.
There's not a lot of kings there. His range is weighted towards pairs, right?
This might be a good spot for a raise.
Well, that's what I did.
Okay, yeah, I was going to say, okay, let me get sizing here. I'm going to go 67.
I think I made it 62.
Okay.
So basically, but yeah, this is one of those where I thought maybe he had a 9 and was scared. And like I said, I thought certainly he could have ace king, but I did not think it was the most likely hand. I thought ace king would always, basically any big hand, I don't see why he would. What is he donking other than a pair that he's trying to pot control, was my thought. So it's one of those things. I just looked at the money in the pot and I'm like, okay, if I bet 62K here, there's 100K in the pot now, or 96K.
Yeah.
So if this works even 50% of the time, it's gold.
Yeah, I don't hate a call either, and then see what he does on the river, because he got position.
I like that.
I
just thought he would need a very strong hand. My read on the player was that certainly if he's bluffing here somehow, he's done with it. If he was going to float and steal it.
Yeah.
And I think any pair lower than 9s he's done with too. 6 7s or 8s he's done. Ace 5 he's done with.
I think you're right.
So of all the hands we put him on pre-flop range, then this is a good raise, I think. I could be wrong, but like I said, you have him floating, ranging him. You think he's going to be floating with ace, with kings in his range a heck of a lot more than I do, personally.
Okay.
I think even ace king, he just out of position, he probably mucks. But again, I could be wrong. He takes a little while. Couldn't get really any response over how he was thinking or what he was thinking, but I got a sense he was going to call, and he called. So now, now we've got a big pot. There's 200K in the pot.
Yeah.
And I'm what are you thinking as the river comes? Are you just done with this hand? I mean, if I want...
I mean, unless obviously we hit a jack, that would be nice. A queen? I don't know. I mean, for him, what did he look like when he was calling? Was he like pained, like, I have 9-10. Like, as long as he doesn't have a king, then I'm okay. Or like, what was your vibe?
If it checks to us on the river and we hit a queen, we're never betting the queen unless we put him narrowly on a 9 here. I think we're always checking behind. If you're talking about turning a queen into a bluff.
No. I'm saying if you hit a queen on the river and he leads out.
Like that. Oh,
I think we got a call.
Oh yeah. Yeah, but if it checks me on the river and I hit a queen, I think I'd probably just be grateful for the.
I would check back.
I guess you could, because I guess.
Yeah, but if you hit a queen on the river and he bets half, 3/4 pot or something, I think we're kind of committed to calling.
Yeah, maybe. But the river is the ace of diamonds. So now ace, king, 9, 5, deuce, 3 diamonds, and I have queen high.
And what's he do?
He bets 100,000.
Oh, I'm done. I take it you shoved?
No, I folded.
Oh, okay.
I mean, we did not have enough chips to. We were down to probably 150K in chips or something.
Yeah.
So to shove, he would have been getting the old 8-1 in his call there.
Yeah. He kind of committed.
I guess it makes sense that he floated with ace king, or just called the flop with ace king, knowing that he's good a lot of the time. And I guess he could have a diamond, some sort of 10 jack of diamonds, about the only other hand I could put him on.
Yeah.
If he hit the flush on the river.
Yeah.
Because the ace and the king of the diamonds are out there. Queen jack of diamonds or jack 10 of diamonds. So yeah, and those two hands together, I lost about half my stack.
Okay. Yeah, I might almost just go for the call on the turn. Take your gut shot cheap, and and just go from there.
Check back the flop, and then rep any hand bigger than a 10 on the turn. Of course, I think my whole point of this thing is just Queen 10 suited under the gun. It's not a good hand.
Yeah, that's true. I think all of this could have been avoided by just checking that. So that's lesson number one from this. Although, the raise on the turn I thought was a decent move, and so at a certain level I think we got unlucky there. If he's floating with ace king, then we take it down with pretty much any double barrel there. You mean if the king doesn't come?
Right. But anyways, so we go through the blind. So I was under the gun. Then next to the blind, I defend my blind to a min raise, I think, and lose that hand. Then I go through the small blind. So when we get to the button, I got about 120K.
Okay.
So 3 hands later.
All right. 120K. And we're still at 2.55K.
Yep.
Okay.
So
24 bigs.
The guy who's the chip leader, one of the chip leaders, who's just playing too many hands or playing a lot of hands. He opens, I think it's UTG +1.
Okay.
Makes it 13-5. And the guy to my right, the pro, who's very, very good, one of the better players I played against LA, he calls 13.5. Okay. And I am next to act on the button with Jack 9 of clubs.
On the button?
Yep.
I'm not really feeling this one. I mean, it's a pretty hand and everything. You could call and take a flop, but you only have 24 bigs. I'm kind of in... How do you squeeze? I hadn't thought of that.
I think shove? my read on the small and big blind, by the way, is they're going to play... neither of them is going to squeeze light.
Okay.
So it'll be easy to, we're not going to get squeezed that often. So I'm not closing out the action, but I'm not really too worried about a raise behind me, which is a major consideration here.
Yeah. Man, I would like a call if you had something like 30 bigs or more. But I mean, for you to put in 2.5 bigs here with only 24 big blinds, yeah, you are on the button. It's a pretty hand. I feel like this is a call with Jack 10 suited and a fold with Jack 9 suited. I would actually probably fold.
I would like to be deeper, certainly.
Yeah.
Although, like I said, the early guy would be the sort who would be stubborn and maybe stack off with air. If you missed a flop with ace king, and then he would bet and then shove all in on the turn. Where I could, if I hit my hand, I think there's a decent chance of a double against this particular villain.
Against UTG +1.
Yeah, and the other guy has a hand for sure. And I can't even take, I wouldn't even take aces and kings out of his range. He would flat them there sometimes.
Okay.
But his read on the villain is probably the same as mine. He just wants to play pots in position with him. But I like what you're saying. I mean, I think maybe a fold. I mean, even a shove's not hideous if we want to just do the math of how much is it. If I start with 120K, small blind, big blind, and Annie's is 11,500, and then they've put another 27K in the pot. So there's 38,500. It's more than a 25% boost to my stack if I just shove and they fold. And Jack Nine of clubs.
That's almost a 30% bump. It's just shy of a third, you know?
No, it's okay, yeah.
You got 120K, you got almost 40K in the pot already. Yeah, I mean, I guess a shove isn't that bad. I don't know, though. If you read on the guy to your right, the pro to your right is pretty strong, and you can't even take aces or kings out of his range. So, yeah, I think I would fold here. 30 bigs, I would call.
Right.
24, I think it's a fold.
Well, I thought none of those options are terrible. I didn't have enough chips to squeeze fold, I don't think. I'm not going to bet 42 and then fold.
No.
So it was shove or fold, or I think in position where I feel like I'm kind of closing out the action. I can just call and reevaluate flop. And the flop, so I call, and the blinds fold.
Okay.
So there's now quite a bit of change in there. Obviously, we have 40,500 plus. What did I say? It was 11,500. But 53K in the pot. We'll just move on here. And the flop is 8-8-4, and the 8 and the 4 of clubs are up there.
All right. Well, I guess we're going with this one then, huh? Okay. All right. And what's UTG do?
UTG bets 35K.
Okay. Late position.
So he's betting pretty big.
Mm-hmm.
The next player takes a few seconds, and he calls.
These are painful. It's like I physically feel pain in my body while I'm looking at these hands.
I don't think this was painful. This was a pretty, I think, easy decision here.
At this point, yeah. It just feels like we're just we have to hit a club to win. I feel like somebody's calling us every time, and you got to hit to win. You know, you got to either hit the backdoor straight or you got to hit a club, and I hate that. I mean, a jack or a 9 might not even be an out.
Right. Yeah, I think we're. My read was yes. We are always. We're always getting called, but even if we know we're always getting called, it's still kind of mathematically the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Because basically, we'd be putting 107K into the pot to actually, at this point, win about 190K.
Yeah.
If we're getting called by one person. So, yeah, you don't have to win. You can win much less than 50% of the time, and it's still profitable. So it's still, yeah. And so I shoved, and the under the gun opener quickly folds, and the next guy tanked for a little while, actually. And it's kind of funny. We both knew exactly what the other one had. I honestly, once he took like 10 seconds, I'm like, okay, he doesn't have an overpair. He's got 6s or 7s. Because he's trying to decide if he knows that I have 2 overs and the clubs, he's actually not favored.
Dog, right?
He's not favored to win the hand, but again, he's just getting the right price.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, you got the club draw. I guess I got a call, and he calls. He had pocket 7s.
Oh.
And so I actually had 15 outs.
Yeah.
Or 4, or something like that.
Yeah, I think you're a favorite there. I'd have to look at it, but I'm pretty sure you are.
Yeah, no, I was like 60% to win.
Okay.
I didn't get there. It's funny when he was tanking, and I said Jack, because I even wanted to just show that before the card, that I knew because he called my hand. I wanted to show that I knew his hand, that I had at least. I thought there was a chance he had 10s or something, but no, I was pretty. We had each other pretty well down, but so if I won that hand, I would have been back where I was a couple hands earlier before I decided to open the 6s. But that's a pretty quick 60 big. And none of those hands I played hideously.
No, I don't think so.
I think I played them all decent, but they're all questionable whether I should have even seen a flop with any of those hands.
Well, I think the sixes, since it's UTG +1, 8-handed, I like the way you played that one. I would have played it the same way. Queen 10 suited, I would have dumped that one, and then the Jack 9 suited, I would have dumped that one as well. I think with the Jack 9 suited, you're just a little too short. 24 bigs is, you see a flop like this, and then you're committed with it, and yeah.
I think the Jack 9 suited is, I definitely think that's a pretty good call. I would definitely lean towards saying that's the right call. I think Queen 10 suited, opening that, is the one boneheaded play of the three. For sure. But, I broke my streak of 27, but I fired 2 bullets and left there at the casino down 800 for the day, or 1,000 or whatever it was. So, that sucked. And then, so I was feeling it there at the end. I thought this was it. I thought I was going to really do
That's
well.
a bummer. You got really far and so close. Yeah, but well, we got a couple of hands from a listener. Do you want to go over those, or should we wrap it up and maybe save it for the next show, or what do you think?
It's up to you, Stevie. You're the boss.
You know what? How about if we wrap it up here, and then do you want to record another one right after this? It'll be a quick one. We'll just do the hands and then be done, or
we'll do a short one, like an hour or something.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to get to your hands on the next podcast, Grant. So you guys will have to wait a week for that, but Mike and I will literally have to wait about 30 seconds. So go ahead and check out Mike's site. It should be up by the time this podcast comes out. It's, what is it, Mike? Rampagepoker.com?
Mm-hmm.
Rampagepoker.com. You can check out my website at headsuppoker.poker. If you want a free MP3, it's a meditation tape that you listen to before you play poker. It's by Elliot Rowe. You can get a free copy of that by clicking on the link in the show notes. You download it, you listen to it's a tilt buster, like what Jay was talking about earlier in his email. For Mike, you listen to it before you play the next time, and it actually stops you from tilting. It really works. So try it out. You got nothing to lose. It's free. Thank you guys for tuning in, and here is your weekly motivational speech.
If you look around you, you will see people's lives and thoughts on autopilot. Now you tell me why someone else is dictating your life and thoughts. Why? Why are your thoughts being manipulated by external variables? What does it take to change those thoughts, and therefore change your habits in life?
Let's start with the concept of speed.
1697. Newton's laws of motion.
Newton's first law of motion: an object in motion will remain in motion unless acted upon by an external force.
This law teaches us to exterminate all negative external forces, so we remain in constant motion. This knowledge is taught in high schools, colleges. It's all around you.
You could give me any task, I will demolish it. I don't care if I've ever done it. I don't care if I've ever heard of it. I don't even care if it's never been done.
Life isn't easy like that. You have to hustle. You have to push yourself, pain yourself. See, I can do anything because I've grasped the law of motion.
Will you plummet down or soar up? Your perception decides. Eliminate unnecessary external forces, waste no time, and ascend perpetually, so that your speed will never lose its motion.
Now I need you to be patient because I need you to give your gift. Listen to me. I need you to give your gift time to mature. All right? I need you to fully develop.
The law of attraction states that what you seek is seeking you, and that your frequencies and vibrations are energies which have a boomerang effect.
Your attitude determines your direction. The speed acquired will determine if you get there. The attitude acquired will determine how you get there.
I'm talking about letting your character catch up with your talent, okay? Because just because you got talent, I mean, you can ask some of the most talented people in the world. They got there. Their talent took them places that their character couldn't keep them. And they wish they could have started all over again and been patient and not just waited for the fame or the success, but for the maturity. Are you hearing me? For the character to fully develop.